Hi, everyone. Welcome to Scrivtalk. I'm Liana George, author and co-owner of Scrivenings Press, where we share clean, faith-filled fiction to encourage and inspire readers. Here at Scrivtalk, we love giving readers a behind-the-scenes look at the stories they love and the authors who write them, because every good book has a story behind the story. And today, I'm excited to introduce our guest, Gina Holder. Gina is an author and stay-at-home mom who has loved books for as long as she can remember. Yes, girl, I'm with you on that. When she's not writing, she enjoys playing the piano, cooking, reading, watching Hallmark mysteries, and solve it. You guessed it, escape room puzzles. She lives in Wyoming with her husband and daughter. And today we're going to be talking about her suspense-filled Game Master series, including her novel, Book One, The Puzzle Within, and Book Two, her upcoming release, The Escape Game. So, Gina, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, thank you for having me, Leanna. I'm looking forward to this. I should
Yeah,
tell everybody about my new books.
yeah, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, I love escape rooms. My family and I, we love going to play escape rooms. I don't know if you say play escape rooms, solve escape rooms, but we're with you
Yeah.
on the escape rooms. Love, love, love. So I'm excited to talk about your books because they have to do with puzzles and mysteries and games. So, um, like I told the audience a minute ago, your series is called The Game Masters. What drew you to puzzles and games as the foundation for this series?
Really started because the initial question that I asked that started it all was, what if a villain took an escape room type deal into the real world?
Hmm.
And so I kind of came up with this idea, well, why would someone do that? And the game masters developed out of an idea of some villains who thought they were God, but
Oh.
they control people's destinies. And so they are the game masters, but they don't know that they're up against the real master.
I love that. I love that. I love that on so many levels. I love it because I know the readers are going to enjoy solving things alongside their characters, but I love how you just weave that in, right? They think they're in control, but we know who really is, right? And
Yes,
I would say that could probably go for most of us in our everyday lives. We're not villains,
absolutely.
but we think we're in control, and he's probably going, no, uh-uh. So tell me a little bit about your fascination with puzzles and games beyond the what if question. Like, do you go to escape rooms? Do you play a lot of games?
So I love games from the time I've always enjoyed word searches kind of thing. I love board games. Anytime my family will play a game with me, I am all for it. It's kind of that's what I asked Mother's Day. Will someone just play a game?
That's awesome.
And as we do escape rooms on occasion, depending on where we're living at the time, what's available.
Yeah.
Here in Casper, Wyoming, there's one escape
Oh,
room, and we have been there one time for an actual room. And then they also had let me have my launch party last year
oh,
at the
fun.
at the escape room in the lobby. So
Cool.
that was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love for me, it's just all about the brain, the mind bending as you try to put it the solve it and put it all together and find the solution where all these pieces just fit.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I'm with you. As a matter of fact, my family's getting together for my husband's birthday this weekend, and one of the things that my first thing my daughter said was, "I'm ordering that new game for us to play because we are just gamies." I mean, we take a game to a restaurant, and while we're sitting waiting for our food, we'll play a game, right? I mean, we are all about games, and
Well,
yeah, every trip, who's got what game and who's bringing that? So I hear you on that. So I love it too. I love it too. Well, what do you think it is about mysteries and puzzles that resonate so deeply with readers that they're.
because life is a mystery.
Hmm,
We're constantly trying to put this. chaos that we live in together in something that makes sense,
Hmm.
and trying to understand how we fit into this world, how our relationship with God fits into this world, and how we're just going to get through it as life throws so many different things at us
Yeah.
that, for us, that the puzzle, the mystery is just, I think it's ingrained in us to seek out the mysteries of God.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I love that. I love exactly what you're saying. And I think that's going to really resonate with readers as well. So now that we know, and we've gotten a glimpse into how your brain works with all these puzzles, let's talk about the books themselves, right? Let's start by giving everyone a quick overview of the puzzle within, right? No spoilers, but just a quick recap.
So the puzzle then, the characters are Ari, who is the FBI agent who is dealing with nightmares and recovering from a nervous breakdown. And she wants to go back to work, but not everybody's convinced that she's of the mental state to go back to being a field agent.
Mhm.
She gets put on security detail for an ambassador's daughter, and she's partnered with a guy who is a risk analyst, former escape artist, who kind of has this freeze about fear of everything. He's afraid of everything. And so they're put on security detail, and it should go simple. It should be easy. And the girl insists that her schedule remain exactly as it's planned. And they take her to an escape room. And partway through the room, the lights go out. And when the lights come on, she's gone.
Ooh.
And so at first, they wonder if this is part of her wanting to get out from under them watching her.
Mm.
But then they find some clues that determine no, somebody took her.
Oh.
And this person who took her lays out a puzzle hunt that the agents have to follow in order to try to get her back before something terrible happens to her.
All right.
So the whole book is them trying to follow this puzzle hunt while some other bad things keep happening as they're stopped from finding the clues.
Okay. And what about the escape game?
So the escape game is about Demi Kane, who has spent 20 years of her life waiting for her father to come back home, who just disappeared one night. And the only thing that they have is that he wrote a message in code on the back of his wedding photo. And without a keyword, it's impossible to decipher the code.
Mm.
And Demi's convinced that it would be written in her father's journal, but they can't find the journal. And she has spent 20 years trying to find this journal, can't find it.
Mm.
And then she meets Liam Shepard, who is a missionary slash escape room expert. And he is in town looking for his missing twin sister.
Mm.
And through a couple of different things, they find the journal and they solve the coded message, which says that his dad was going to come back soon. And 20 years is not soon. So they go in search of where did he go, and how does that tie into where Liam's missing sister?
Mm. All right. Well, now I know, many people may have read this already and they may not have. And that's one of the reasons why we do this, right? To encourage them and give them some inspiration. But I know that you have puzzles within your books, right? So do you make those up yourself or how do you do that? And like, is there an answer key?
So we solve them. The answers are there on the page because they do move forward. I do come up with some of them. Others are ones that I've actually experienced in escape rooms
Mm.
or at home escape rooms where you can buy a kit and do it at home.
Yep.
There are twists on puzzles that I've put together through these different means, and some of them are ones that I've imagine from start to finish. Sometimes I need help, or I look online and find, I search for different types of mental puzzles, and then, uh, you know, fit it to how it fits in the story.
Sure, sure. Which reminds me, I was going to order an escape room home game for Christmas last year. But we ended up having so many activities, I let that go. Are those really good?
They're really good.
Oh,
I love them. I have a whole stack of them, and
okay. I'm going to have
I
to
like it
get
because
I'm
I
going
can
to
do them
have to get
alone.
the website you use because I really want to do that because after you open presents and you kind of talk for a little bit, it's kind of like, now what, right? And so I really want to spend time with my family. So I thought that might be something done. So we'll talk later about that. All right. So now we kind of have an overview. Let's dig in a little bit deeper, especially with the escape game, because that's what's coming out, or yeah, or have it coming out, depending on when this video releases. But the escape game has such high stakes premise with deadly puzzles and a ticking clock, which is always good for a suspense. If you don't have those, if you don't have those elements, you may not have a suspense. But what was your favorite part of developing the storyline?
Well, my favorite part was coming up with, kind of not any spoilers,
Sure.
but there are some little key elements, some glimpses into Demi's life, and that I was able to. I think my favorite part was weaving in advice that her father had given her
Mm,
when he was still around, and using those moments to connect her to back to her dad and how much he had meant to her. And she was able to use things that he had told her
mm.
that moved her forward in the story or helped her get through the next room.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Makes me think of, I don't know if you watched The Night Agent on Netflix, but they just this past season, she needed the password from her dad's journal or book or something to be able to uncode or decrypt. I don't know how you say that, but anyway, yeah. So that's really cool. That's really cool. But I love how you blend that in, right? Bringing those memories, so we get a glimpse into her life without just being an info dump, right? And seeing how important that relationship is to her. So I think that's awesome. So the other thing that these stories really kind of center around is uncovering the truth. So whether it's missing people or hidden past, why is that theme important to you?
Fame is important to me because my goal for writing all of my stories is to get people to see God's truth
Mm,
and to see how the truth of the Word of God, how that can apply to our everyday lives.
hmm.
And so I want to encourage people to seek out the truth
Yeah,
in what how the scriptures would apply to their own lives.
yeah. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful, and I love that. Um, so let's talk about your characters. Demi and Liam are both dealing with loss and unanswered questions. So how did their personal stories or personal journeys shape your story?
It's an interesting thing to get into because when the first draft was done, I had two characters moving around these very intricate rooms solving puzzles, and yet didn't really go into their insights into the personal stories or how they related to each other as characters. So that was something that really had to come out during editing
Mm,
as I worked through each scene again and saw how that these elements from their past could relate to what was transpiring in the room itself at the time. For most of it, I watch God unfold the story
mm.
because I just type what he's telling me is happening, and I look and go, "This is so good."
Isn't that how we are? We always do that, right? We're like, God, that's so good. Like he would give us anything less, right?
Sometimes it was surprising to me that I would come across something and it just seemed like it would just flow out that another element would connect to what had already happened, bring out something else about their personality, about their character, and about the things that they had been dealing with throughout their life already at this point.
Yeah. And I think that's what really adds emotional layers and depth to the suspense. So that's
Yes,
awesome that you do that.
Liam was interesting because when I first created the character of Liam, he had no faults.
Mm,
And I was like, no, 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 that can't be true. You have to have something wrong with you.
yeah.
This is how fiction works.
Right.
As I dug into him and really created this character, when I found the depth of his wound,
Mm,
I actually sat and cried
really?
because I just bawled like a baby. Because
Wow.
when I found when you get to that point, it's not till almost the end of the book before you finally hear from him his deepest flaw, and it's a one that as Christians we want to think of ourselves as so capable and so brave,
Yeah.
and yet find out that inside of us is a little person who's very afraid.
Yeah. Yes, that's so very true. That is so very, very true. Well, how do you balance these intense high stake moments, right, with the emotional and relational elements? I mean, because it's kind of hard to do. Do you go like write the suspense first and then like you go back, like you said, you just had that? Is that normally your route, or do you find a way to balance it differently?
Well, in this game, there were many moments when characters were stuck, and that would cause a moment to breathe,
Yeah.
reader, because everything would slow down. And during the time when it was slow, I was able to bring out a conversation between the two characters that would allow them to dig into more emotional, more personal aspects of themselves during those downtimes because they were stuck, or the times when they would have to catch their breath
Yeah.
because of the things that they had just gone through.
Right,
Next
right.
thing, these has a chance to catch their breath. It's a little bit like a roller coaster. That there are some really highs, but then there are moments where everything just slows down. When you get a chance to breathe, the characters get a chance to breathe. During that time, they get a chance to just talk.
Yeah, yeah. Time to reflect, right? Because if we just keep
Yes.
going, and I'm just talking like personal, real world stuff, right? And we don't take time to pause and reflect about what's been happening, we could miss some very important lessons, I think.
The
And so it's true for our characters too.
main part of the book takes place over 12 hours.
Hmm.
And so there was a lot to cram into 12 hours.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, we all love stories that have that, right? I mean, I remember the TV show 24, right? And it would, have that ticking clock, right? Every season was 24 hours. Or The Pit, where every season is 12 hours, right? So we love that time crunch because it just ramps everything up. So, yeah. But like you said, you have to squeeze a lot into it without overwhelming the reader. So that's really a good balance. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your writing process because as much as I'd love to keep talking about the book itself, we don't want to give out too much. We want the readers to read it, right? So let's talk a bit because I think it's also interesting the process and different things that helped you as you wrote. So, what does your planning process look for a book like this?
I have tried to plot.
Hmm.
I have honestly tried it, and every time it kills the inspiration, it kills the forward momentum. I look and it just everything dies, and I can't get anywhere in a book. So
Everything dies.
most of this, it comes organically as I'm writing a scene. just all of a sudden something very strange will happen, and I'm like, okay, so this is what we're going with.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I have to tell a character, no, no, we're not doing that. Get back over here. We're sticking. So sometimes, I just follow how my brain takes a story and sees what, I see what happens next, and
Yeah.
which doing the puzzles can be tricky because if I miss somehow a clue, I do have to go back and find ways to weave it in later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I would think that would be really hard because, like you said, if you miss a clue over here and then you've got something going on down here, but you miss that clue, then you kind of have to go and unravel a little bit, I would think, to fix it to.
I used to have a bigger problem with that, but I have discovered that when I let my subconscious just rule the story, I look and realize that I've been planting the clues all along, and I get to tie them together with this pretty bow
Mm.
that is like, I can't wait for readers to see this.
That's great. I'm not a pantser. I'm a plotter through and through. And so I admire pantsers because I can't even imagine like if when I stop for the day, I want to know what I'm going to be doing the next day, right? If I try to write a scene a day, which is ambitious sometimes, then, I want to know that tomorrow I know, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be working on this, blah, 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 right? But I can imagine as a pantser, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm going to sit down and start writing. So that just, yeah, you want to talk about fear? That's fear. That is so fear for me. So, were there any scenes or plot twists without giving anything away that surprised you as you were writing?
Hmm. Nice me. Well, there's always little moments that come as a surprise or things that I wasn't expecting. Um, is that because I don't plot anything out, just whatever my brain decides to add to the story in the moment. Like I said about Liam's character, when I got the biggest surprise was getting to where we find out all his backstory and just how it all ties together. He was a fun character to create. As he said, he's a missionary in the escape room expert. And as I researched the plan of how that would connect, that was kind of fun to how do you connect somebody who does escape rooms with being a missionary? And it went in this really fun direction of him being able to go into countries that are closed to the gospel, and it being escape room is his cover
Oh,
that allows him into these countries. And so then I went into more detailed research of why he does this and why does he behave this way. And
hmm,
um,
that's really good.
so a little bit more, I guess, twist was there's another character in the story, Bobby, and when first pass on the editing and everything, he was boring. He
Mm,
was a cardboard character, and he had no personality. Most people found him kind of annoying,
yeah,
and I had to go into, do some backstory on him of why he behaved the way he did, and that was fun to pull out and add those elements to the story that I hadn't put in before.
yeah. That's really good that you can read through and recognize because I think sometimes we're as authors so close to the manuscript, right? It's our baby that I know it's not your first book, but it's our baby and we're really close to it so we can't see things sometimes. So for you to be able to sit back and go, I could see that this character was boring. I could see that the story didn't have this or that. That's really impressive. I think that just makes it a much stronger book. Now, I want to back up real quick to what you said about being an escape room expert. Is that like a really real thing? Oh,
blogs and vlogs and things like that where they go different places. A lot of people travel the world and then do a video blog about it. So I thought, well, why doesn't he go and travel the world and experience escape rooms,
Yeah.
and then he can write them in his blog.
Yeah.
Actually worked really well for the story because Liam at the beginning is convinced it's a game.
Mm.
And even after they face the first physical threat to their lives,
Yeah.
he's like, oh no, this is a game. It's fine. Anything else would be illegal.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point. And it added a lot to have his escape room experience added into the fact that Demi Kane is a bona fide genius.
Hmm.
And so having her with the mental, but then him with the actual escape room experience was kind of fun to add together.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So I know you said the whole game masters, right? Is that we think we're in control, but it's really the master. How did you weave faith naturally into your plots? I mean, do you start with an idea? Like I know some authors are like, well, I'm going to start with this verse, right? And that's the theme verse for the book. Do you start that way? Or because you're a pantser, does it just kind of ebb and flow as you are writing?
Usually start with a scripture and a theme from that scripture that I would like to put into the story. In the times that I've written, now this is number 9.
Mm.
So I've had times where God has changed the verse and changed the direction. I believe that in the escape game, it was that way. I mean, from the puzzle within, I had a different mindset, and God changed it as the story progressed and took me in a completely different direction than I had planned. The same thing with the escape game. I had a scripture, and it's in the front of the book that I felt like this story would um, embody, but that turned out to be only the focus for Demi.
Mm.
Liam had a totally different angle on kind of the same plot.
Yeah.
But for me, I can not put faith into my stories. It comes out just as naturally as talking or expressing myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's beautiful, actually. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. So, well, what is it that you hope readers will take away on a deeper faith level after finishing these books? Because I know they're going to want to read both. So let's just put that out there.
Well, it does come back to what we are talking at the beginning about God being in control. And that is the focus of the puzzle within, is how that we have to remember that God is in control, and then when things get hard, he knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And we can be confident in the fact, knowing that he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
None of this took him by surprise. That so he didn't have a plan for how to get you through this thing. He already knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And for the escape game, again, it's really want readers to know and understand how that relationship with God and how God feels about us,
Mm.
how He wants to connect with us, how He wants to be a part of our lives. He wants us to seek Him. He wants us to be walking with Him and growing with Him and seeking His desires for our life and being all that He would want us to be.
Mm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I do hope that readers will take that away as well. Definitely. All right. Well, before we close and wrap things up, I do have just one more question for you. But don't worry, this one's all fun and games. I just want to ask if you were trapped in one of your own escape rooms, would you make it out?
No, I'm pretty sure I would not.
Because you make it too hard?
I I'm probably freeze in fear. Some of these things are terrifying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess you had to make some really scary stuff when you were writing that out, right? So,
And also, it was the typical thing with the puzzles was making them challenging enough or simple enough that I could write it.
yeah.
My readers could do it, but also making it challenging enough that for somebody who is a genius would actually be stumped by it. So I'm pretty sure I would never figure it out and I would be in there forever.
Yeah, well, it's not fun and games for you in these books. It's deadly, right? It's deadly. So, well, it's been so much fun talking with you, Gina, and tell me what's next for you. Will we see more from the Game Masters world?
So I am currently working on book 3 for the Game Masters called The Missing Piece,
Mm.
and it takes place in New Orleans. It involves a homicide detective and a passionate activist who gets involved with a serial killer named Cypher, who's been
Mm.
taking out one victim every year on the same day for the last 10 years.
Oh.
And when our passionate activist, when her best friend goes missing, everything points to Cypher
Mm.
as the killer, and she is determined to bring justice for her best friend.
Love that. Can't wait to read that one. Oh, that sounds so good. Well, clearly, guys, you can see that you need to be reading Gina's books. I mean, if your interest hasn't been piqued right now, I don't know what else I can do for you, but I know you're going to love them. Gina, tell them how they can find you, connect with you, and then mention your upcoming fall appearance.
So you can find me online pretty much everywhere as Stories by Gina. That's on Goodreads and BookBub. That's also my blog, my website and blog are Stories by Gina. Instagram and Facebook. You can find me at Stories by Gina. And for my upcoming appearance, I will be attending as a participating author at the Read Write Rendezvous in Nashville this November. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm tickled to death that they, felt like I would be an addition to it and that I can share my books with one of the largest gatherings of Christian readers that takes place each year. So,
It's
yeah,
huge. It's huge. And congratulations. Well
thank
deserved.
you.
So, yeah. Well, for those of you watching, if you enjoy suspense with twist, puzzles, and meaningful threads of faith, be sure to check out Gina's books, The Puzzle Within, and her newest release, The Escape Game, on Amazon or on our website at scrivningspress.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out some of the other titles we have that we think you'll enjoy as well. So, thank you so much for joining us today. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with readers who enjoy suspense-filled thrillers, danger-laced with romance, and stories that keep you guessing. Thanks for joining us on Scrivtalk, Gina. Thanks for watching, everyone, listening. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time with our next Scrivtalk interview. Until then, happy reading. Bye-bye.